Tell him to play the song.
Cut that shit out, my nigga.
Bro, that's not. Bro, I'm representing the chat, gang. That's my last time saying it, gang.
Ready, my boy.
Pooh Shiesty just tapped in from federal lockup after getting caught up in a crazy situation tied to Gucci Mane, now calling out what he says really happened. But before we get into his version, let's rewind everything back to January 10th, 2026, a Saturday afternoon in Dallas, Texas. Gucci Mane, a major force in trap music, someone who built his name from the ground up, pulled up to the city thinking he was stepping into a normal business move. Nothing wild, just a meeting about a recording deal, something clean and professional. That's what he believed. He walks into his studio expecting a calm sit-down, but instead, he's met by 9 men already inside waiting. What happened over the next hour turned into one of the most heavily documented situations the industry has seen, with surveillance footage, federal paperwork, and even social media clips stacking up fast. According to reports, Gucci Mane was put in a dangerous spot with pressure applied and valuables taken, including his wedding ring right off his hand. One of the people with him was reportedly handled so aggressively they almost passed out, and the tension inside that room was completely out of control. And the name being linked to setting all of this up, his own artist, Pooh Shiesty, fresh out of prison and still under strict monitoring, while Big 30 was allegedly posted at the door making sure nobody walked out early. Now, here's where things get even more serious. Federal paperwork suggests Gucci Mane later spoke to investigators and identified the people involved. He reportedly gave details about who was inside that studio that day. And of course, 50 Cent didn't stay quiet. He jumped online quick, throwing shots and questioning Gucci's reputation, making the whole situation even louder across social media. The internet completely lost it over this situation. So today, we're breaking everything down piece by piece. The setup, what went down inside that studio, and every category of evidence investigators say they have on the crew. We're also getting into what Gucci did afterward and what 50 Cent said that had social media going crazy. This story is wild, and a lot of people still don't know the full picture, so let's run it from the top. Tre'Ell Williams Jr., born in Memphis, Tennessee, better known as Pooh Shiesty, started making serious noise around 2021. If you were tapped in back then, you already know. His debut mixtape Shiesty Season hit number 12 on the Billboard charts right in the middle of the pandemic. That kind of rise doesn't just happen randomly. He came in fast, built momentum, and had people everywhere paying attention. Fans were rocking with him heavy, the industry was backing him, and most importantly, Gucci Mane saw the potential early. Pooh Shiesty signed with Gucci's 1017 Records in 2020, and at first, everything looked solid. Gucci put him on tracks, gave him major looks, and made sure he had the spotlight. The mixtape even included features from Gucci himself, along with Big 30, his close collaborator from Memphis. Those two moved like a unit. Wherever Pooh Shiesty went, Big 30 wasn't far behind. But things took a serious turn in 2022, just as his career was heating up. He ended up facing a federal case connected to Miami. He ended up taking a plea deal and was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. 5 years right when his career was hitting its peak. Just like that, everything paused. But if you think that's where the story ends, not even close. That was only the beginning, and things take a turn nobody really expected. By October 2025, Pooh Shiesty was released earlier than planned. He served about 3 years of that sentence and walked out. But getting out early doesn't mean full freedom. There are strict rules attached: home detention, constant monitoring with an ankle device, and limited movement unless approved. And one thing is clear, under those conditions, you're not allowed to be around anything considered dangerous or restricted. So now he's back home trying to rebuild and figure things out. But here's what wasn't getting much attention. His deal with 1017 Records was still active, and behind the scenes, things weren't sitting right with him. Reports suggest he wasn't happy with the contract terms. He felt boxed in and wanted out, looking for more control over his music and his direction. You'd expect most artists to handle that through legal routes, bringing in attorneys, renegotiating, or even taking it to court if needed. That's usually how these situations go. But this situation didn't follow the usual script. Pooh Shiesty wasn't moving like everyone else, and the next move he made had people seriously questioning what was really going on. He set up a meeting, but not just any meeting. He invited Gucci Mane out to Dallas, January 10th, 2026, a Saturday afternoon in Dallas, Texas. Gucci Mane, a major force in trap music, someone who built his name from the ground up, pulled up to the city thinking he was stepping into a normal business move. Nothing wild, just a meeting about a recording deal, something clean and professional. That's what he believed. He walks into a studio expecting a calm sit-down, but instead, he's met by 9 men already inside waiting. What happened over the next hour turned into one of the most heavily documented situations the industry has seen, with surveillance footage, federal paperwork, and even social media clips stacking up fast. According to reports, Gucci Mane was put in a dangerous spot with pressure applied and valuables taken, including his wedding ring right off his hand. One of the people with him was reportedly handled so aggressively they almost passed out, and the tension inside that room was completely out of control. And the name being linked to setting all of this up? His own artist, Pooh Shiesty, fresh out of prison and still under strict monitoring, while Big 30 was allegedly posted at the door making sure nobody walked out early. It wasn't the kind of meeting anyone in that position would have anticipated, and the energy in that room changed fast. Investigators say that once inside, Pooh Shiesty asked Gucci to step into a separate recording room to talk privately. In that space, it wasn't just the two of them. Pooh Shiesty's father, Tremel Williams Sr., was there along with Big 30, someone who had been close to him from the start. That made 4 people in the room with Gucci, while 6 more individuals were reportedly positioned in the main studio area. All of them had traveled together from Memphis to Dallas, which made the situation look very coordinated from the outside. At that point, paperwork was brought out, documents meant to end the contract. The request was clear: sign and release him from the label. But Gucci Mane refused, and that's when things reportedly escalated fast. According to federal accounts, a weapon was displayed during the confrontation, and the pressure in that room went through the roof. Faced with that kind of situation, Gucci eventually signed the paperwork. But even after that, the situation still wasn't over, and what followed only added more tension to an already serious moment. That's what makes this situation so shocking. It didn't stop at the contract. After Gucci signed those papers under heavy pressure, reports say his personal belongings were taken. His wedding ring, his watch, his earring, even the cash he had on him. Everything was gone in moments, turning what was supposed to be a business meeting into something way more serious. At the same time, outside that room, the other individuals in the studio were allegedly putting pressure on the remaining people who came with Gucci. One person was forced onto a couch while his wallet and jewelry were taken. Another was grabbed from behind and nearly lost consciousness during the struggle, before also losing valuable items like a Rolex, a designer bag, AirPods, and more. The tension in that space was unreal, and nobody there had control of the situation. And then there's Big 30. Reports claim he stood by the studio door, physically blocking the exit and making it clear that nobody was leaving until everything played out. The people inside couldn't just walk away. They were stuck in a situation that kept escalating by the minute. According to prosecutors, at one point, the individuals involved genuinely feared for their lives. They believed the situation could take an even darker turn at any second. It's hard to imagine the level of fear in that room. People who showed up for a simple meeting suddenly found themselves in a situation they never expected. Eventually, after everything was taken, the group was told to leave. They were escorted out and the entire crew cleared the scene. But in the middle of all that, one move ended up changing everything, and that's where things really started to fall apart. Listen, this situation goes way deeper than just a simple case with a little bit of proof. Investigators didn't come in light. They came in with a serious amount of evidence, and a lot of it came from the group's own actions. That's what really makes this stand out. Let's break it down step by step, because this part is crazy. First up, the ankle monitor. Pooh Shiesty was on home detention at the time, wearing a federally issued ankle monitor that tracks every move, every location, every step, all recorded. When investigators pulled that data, it placed him right at the studio at the exact time everything went down. He was supposed to be at home, but instead, the record showed him in Dallas. That tracking device basically told the whole story on its own, and that detail became a major part of the case. And it doesn't stop there. Think about this. The same monitoring system connected to his previous legal situation ended up playing a role in this one too. That's a serious chain of events, and it raised a lot of eyebrows when the details came out. Next up, the license plate readers. Dallas has cameras all over the highways, and those systems picked up multiple vehicles tied to the group traveling together from Memphis to Dallas in the days leading up to the incident. Investigators were able to map out the timeline of the entire trip, showing how coordinated everything appeared from start to finish. Then you've got the rental vehicles. Reports say Pooh Shiesty's father, Tremel Williams Sr., rented the cars that were used. His name was on the paperwork for a 2020 Dodge Charger Hellcat, along with 2 other rental vehicles connected to the group. Even more surprising, his own father was allegedly involved in driving during the situation, and in doing so, left behind a clear paper trail. That detail alone raised a lot of questions because everything started connecting piece by piece, and it didn't stop there. Number 4. The hotel stay. After everything went down on January 10th, the group checked into a hotel in Dallas. Surveillance cameras reportedly captured them inside, and phone records placed them at that exact location. They didn't even leave the city that same night, which only added more weight to the timeline investigators were building. Now here's one of the most talked about details: the Staples receipt. Hours before the incident, Pooh Shiesty's father reportedly visited a Staples store. Investigators believe the contract paperwork presented during the studio meeting may have been printed there. That suggests preparation ahead of time, with documents ready before anyone even stepped into that studio. Then comes the forensic side: fingerprints. Items left behind in the studio, including plastic cups, were tested. Those cups ended up carrying fingerprints that were later matched to multiple individuals connected to the case. Something as simple as a cup turned into a key piece of evidence tying people directly to the scene. And finally, social media. This part really grabbed attention. After the situation, some individuals allegedly posted online showing off items that investigators believe were taken during the incident. One person, identified as Terrence Rogers, reportedly shared a video wearing a watch that authorities linked back to the case. Another person connected to the case, DeMarcus Glover, reportedly shared photos of himself wearing jewelry that investigators believe was taken during the incident. These posts didn't stay low-key either. They were uploaded straight to social media for everyone to see. It's almost like the evidence was being shown in real time, which only made the situation even more intense. And then there's the AirTag detail. This one really stands out. One of the items taken included a wallet that had an Apple AirTag inside it. That small device ended up becoming a major clue because its last known location pointed to a parking lot right next to an apartment building linked to Pooh Shiesty's father, and a place where Pooh Shiesty himself was reportedly staying. That tracking signal basically led investigators straight to a key location with barely any guesswork. When you line everything up, it's a lot to process. Multiple layers of evidence all connected: the ankle monitor data, license plate tracking, rental car records, hotel surveillance, office supply store visit, fingerprints on items left behind, social media posts, and even that AirTag location. Altogether, it paints a very detailed picture of what investigators believe happened from start to finish. Now, let's look at who ended up being charged, because this wasn't just about a couple of people, it involved a wider group. Trey Williams Jr., known as Pooh Shiesty, was identified by prosecutors as the central figure, with claims that he organized and carried out the plan. He's facing serious federal charges tied to the situation. Then there's Trey Williams Sr., his father, who was reportedly tied to renting the vehicles, helping set up the meeting, and even connected to the paperwork preparation. That link brought him into the case as well. And Rodney Wright Jr., also known as Big 30, another well-known Memphis artist, was named in the case too, with allegations that he played a role during the incident at the studio. Then you've got the rest of the names connected to the case: Kaya Waters, Terrence Rogers, the one who reportedly posted the watch online, Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, who shared those jewelry photos, along with Cordarius Johnson and Dorian McDaniel. Altogether, 8 people were taken into custody across Dallas and Memphis, while one more individual was still being searched for at the time authorities made their announcement. That brings the total to 9 individuals facing serious federal charges tied to this situation. And if convicted, each person could be looking at extremely heavy penalties, including the possibility of life in federal prison. All of this stemming from what started as a disagreement over a music contract, something that usually gets handled through business and legal channels, not situations like this. Now, really think about this for a second, because the timing makes it even more intense. Pooh Shiesty had just been released in October 2025 after serving about 3 years. He had another shot, a chance to rebuild, to get back to music, to reconnect with fans who were still waiting on him. The momentum was still there, and his name still carried weight in the scene. He had a real opportunity for a strong comeback. New music, new moves, a fresh chapter after time away. That kind of comeback can shift everything the right way. And on the other side, people close to the situation say that by 2024, Gucci Mane had already let go of many artists from 1017 Records. But interestingly, Pooh Shiesty was one of the few he kept around, along with another artist, which makes this whole situation even more complicated when you look at how things played out. And this is where things take another turn, because once everything came out, the reactions started pouring in fast. Social media went into overdrive, blogs picked it up, and everybody had something to say about how this whole situation unfolded. But one voice stood out immediately: 50 Cent. He didn't waste any time jumping online and reacting to the reports. In his usual style, he started posting and throwing direct commentary at Gucci Mane, questioning how everything played out and putting the spotlight on the idea of cooperating with investigators. You already know when 50 speaks, people listen, and the conversation only got louder from there. Some people online backed Gucci, saying he was put in a situation nobody should ever have to face and that protecting yourself comes first, no matter what. Others, though, started debating what this means for reputation and how situations like this are viewed in the industry. It turned into a full-on divide with opinions going back and forth across platforms. Meanwhile, legal experts started chiming in too, pointing out just how strong the case looks based on all the reported evidence. When you've got digital tracking, physical evidence, and online activity all lining up, it creates a situation that's hard to argue against in court. At the end of the day, this whole situation became bigger than just one moment. It turned into a major discussion about decisions, consequences, and how quickly things can shift when pressure and business mix the wrong way. Two artists he chose to keep, and Pooh Shiesty was one of them. But reports say he wasn't satisfied with that situation at all. And that's the part that really stands out. If Gucci Mane kept him on the roster, that means he still saw real value there. That means there was still a system in place, support, connections, and opportunities ready to go. Think about it, an artist coming home after 3 years with a record deal still active, still backed by a major name. That's not something you see every day. Most people in that position have to start over completely, rebuilding from nothing. But in this case, there was already a foundation waiting.
There was Big 30 still in the picture, there was fan support, and there was a clear path forward. So when you look at it from that angle, it raises a big question. Why take things in such a different direction? Instead of going through business channels, reports claim the situation escalated into something way more serious, all tied to pushing for a contract release. And all of this happening while still under strict monitoring conditions from a previous case? Now, step back and look at the bigger picture. Gucci Mane is widely recognized for helping shape an entire sound in hip-hop, building artists and turning his career into a long-term business. He's worked with major names, stayed consistent, and focused on growth over time. And yet, according to investigators, someone he supported and kept on the roster is now at the center of a situation like this. It's not just surprising, it really makes you think about decision-making in high-pressure moments, because the level of risk involved in something like this, especially with everything already in place, is what has people talking non-stop about how this all unfolded. Fresh out of prison, still on home confinement with an ankle monitor tracking every move, that alone should have made things clear. There was no version of this situation where it ends smoothly. The moment things escalated inside that studio, the legal consequences were already in motion. There's no way around it. It's hard to even process. Was it bold or just extremely reckless? Maybe it was both at the same time, because when you really think about it, making a move like that under those conditions was always going to bring serious attention. And once everything started unfolding, it didn't take long before the entire situation exploded online. Now, here's the part that really had people talking. Federal documents describe one of the individuals involved, referred to as RD, giving a detailed account of who was responsible. According to reports, this person described the main figure as wearing a black Nike ski mask and dark clothing during the incident. But it didn't stop there. The identification went further, pointing directly to Pooh Shiesty through his Instagram handle. And RD isn't just a random name. That stands for Roger Davis, which is Gucci Mane's legal name. Reports say he identified Pooh Shiesty to investigators, which immediately sparked a huge reaction online once people connected the dots. Now, before people jump to conclusions, it's important to keep perspective. Gucci Mane was placed in a serious and dangerous situation. He traveled to Dallas expecting a normal business meeting, not something like this. According to reports, he was put under extreme pressure, had personal belongings taken, and was unable to leave along with the others in that studio. At one point, they genuinely feared things could take an even worse turn. Think about it like this. If someone puts you in a situation where you're being threatened, your belongings are taken, and people around you are being seriously harmed, what are you supposed to do when authorities start asking questions? That's where this whole debate really begins, because cooperating as a victim isn't the same as what people usually label as snitching. But online discussions don't always make that distinction clear. From one perspective, he was simply reporting something that happened to him, but the internet doesn't always slow down to look at both sides. As soon as the documents started circulating, 50 Cent caught wind of it, and you already know he didn't stay quiet. He went straight online and started speaking on it in his usual sharp, calculated way. He brought up Gucci Mane's past, including a 2005 situation involving Young Jeezy's associate Pooh Shiesty Locke, where Gucci was ultimately cleared after claiming self-defense. Then, he questioned how someone with that kind of history would end up identifying people to federal investigators in this situation. The message was clear, and it instantly grabbed attention. In his post, paraphrased, he made a reference to Gucci's past and framed it like this was one of those only in Atlanta type stories. That alone had people reacting fast. Even though the post didn't stay up for long and was eventually deleted, screenshots had already spread everywhere, and the conversation took off immediately. Now the internet is split. Some people are saying Gucci Mane did exactly what anyone in that position would do, cooperate after going through something that serious. Others are questioning it from a completely different angle, and here's the real conversation. Agree or disagree, but this is where things get complicated. Gucci Mane has already been through the system. He understands how everything works. He came back, changed his lifestyle, built a legit business, supported artists, and became one of the most respected names in trap music. That's a long journey, and it didn't happen overnight. Now look at what's being reported. Someone he kept on the roster even while that person was serving time ends up tied to a situation where a group traveled to Dallas, walked into a studio meeting with prepared documents, and things escalated into a high-pressure confrontation where a contract was signed under intense circumstances. Personal belongings taken, pressure applied, and a moment that clearly went way beyond business. So the real question people are asking is this: at what point does that so-called code stop applying when a situation crosses a line first? When someone is put in that position, do they have the right to speak on what happened? That's the debate 50 Cent sparked, and it's why the conversation hasn't slowed down at all. What's also interesting is that Gucci Mane hasn't said a word publicly. No response, no back and forth online, nothing addressing the situation directly. And honestly, he might not need to. Based on reports, investigators already have multiple layers of evidence, from tracking data to physical items and digital records, all pointing toward what they believe happened. Vetting through social media was just one part of a much bigger picture. The case is now being handled in federal court in Texas with major agencies involved in the investigation, including a violent crimes task force. This isn't some small local situation or minor case. It's federal, and that changes everything. When federal prosecutors step in, the stakes go way up, and they don't move unless they believe the evidence is strong. The U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, Ryan Raybould, made it clear during a press conference, saying, in summary, that the individuals involved came to Dallas for legitimate business, but instead were met with threats and serious harm. He also made it known that using intimidation instead of real business practices will lead to full investigation and prosecution. On the legal side, Pooh Shiesty's attorney, Bradford Cohen, who also represented him in his previous case, released a short statement saying they're reviewing the charges and will respond in more detail later. That's all that's been said so far. No long explanation, no deep breakdown, just a wait-and-see approach as everything develops. Big 30's team hasn't made any public statements either. Gucci Mane has stayed completely silent as well. And after everything reported from that day in the studio, it looks like he's letting the legal process play out without adding extra noise.
Now, when you step back and look at the full timeline, it almost doesn't feel real. A rising artist from Memphis, one of the biggest names coming out of 2021, signs to a major label, builds momentum, lands on the charts, then faces a federal case and serves time. After that, he comes home under strict monitoring with another chance lined up, and then, within months, ends up tied to a situation like this. Reports claim a group traveled to Dallas, walked into a studio meeting with prepared documents, and things escalated into a high-pressure confrontation where a contract was signed under intense circumstances. Personal belongings were taken, others in the room were handled roughly, and the situation quickly spiraled out of control. And what really stands out is how much evidence investigators say they gathered, from tracking devices and vehicle records to digital posts, fingerprints, and even location tracking from personal items. The level of evidence in this case is what really has people talking. It's not just one or two details, it's multiple layers, all stacking up in a way that's hard to ignore. What makes it even more intense is that a lot of this information didn't come from outside sources. It came from actions tied directly to the people involved. Think about it. The ankle monitor was already tracking movement, the AirTag was already inside one of the items, and the digital activity spoke for itself. Posts, videos, and photos shared online ended up becoming part of the conversation, with investigators reportedly linking those uploads back to the situation. That kind of digital trail can be powerful when everything starts lining up, and the stakes here are extremely serious. Everyone connected to the case is facing major federal charges with very heavy potential consequences if convicted. We're not talking about small penalties. This is the kind of situation that can change lives permanently. Then there's the involvement of family connections. Reports say Pooh Shiesty's father is also tied into the case through things like vehicle rentals and preparation steps. That alone adds another layer to everything, showing how wide this situation spread. And looking at Big 30, someone who had real momentum in music, features lined up and a growing career, now being named in the case as well. Investigators claim he played a role during the incident, including being positioned at the studio entrance. Even if he wasn't leading anything, being present in a situation like that carries serious consequences. This has turned into one of the most documented and evidence-packed federal cases the hip-hop world has seen. And what makes it stand out even more is how avoidable it all was. Investigators didn't have to go far looking for answers. The details were already there. Tracking data, location devices, social media activity, physical evidence left behind. It all connected piece by piece. And when you trace it back to the start, it all came from a disagreement over a record deal. Something that could have been handled through lawyers, negotiations, or industry mediation turned into a situation that escalated way beyond control. No need for a large group, no need to travel across states, and definitely no need for things to reach that level of intensity. That's what really has people shaking their heads at how it all played out. It's one of those stories that makes you pause and think, because every step along the way could have gone differently. But once things crossed that line, everything changed, and now the legal system is fully involved with serious consequences on the table. If this story caught your attention or gave you a new perspective, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. We break down stories like this in detail, keeping you updated on every development, every court move, and every new piece of information as it drops. And there's more coming too. We've got deeper dives into Big 30's career and what this situation could mean moving forward, a full look at 1017 Records and where things go from here, and a breakdown of Gucci Mane's rise and influence in the industry. Stay locked in, because this story is still unfolding, and we're going to keep covering every part of it.